this point, over 10 million people have filed for unemployment, and that's as of the beginning of April.
Yeah.
And why? Because the flow of money has stopped. And what we learned is that now more than ever that we should have taken more control of our finances. We should have had our ducks in a row, because we have, as a nation, failed to do so. Now, thank goodness the government has stepped in with the CARES Act. Well, maybe. My name is Darius.
And I'm Carmen. In this video, we aren't going to bore you with everything that's going on with this pandemic. You can watch the news for that. We just want to keep it real and share with you as far as what some of the things that you can do with this CARE Act and how you can make sure that it's benefiting you. Because really, who is this CARE Act benefiting?
Right, because let's take a look at some of the portions of the CARE Act. And one of those things that I want to talk about is the fact that they're putting money into your pocket through the stimulus package.
Yeah.
And what that is about $1,200 per person for people making less than $75,000. And for households, that's $2,400 per household. And $500 additional for children.
Now, don't quote us on this. This is basically as of today when we're shooting this video, April 3rd.
Right. And the point that we really want to drill home is the fact that we have to be responsible with those funds so that when we spend those funds, it does something for us.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate in this video because, yes, we can smile all the way to the bank with these checks that we're getting in the mail from the government. But according to Robert Kiyosaki in his book, Second Chance, he says, if the government is promising to save you, then you've already lost.
What exactly does that mean? You've already lost.
You've already lost.
Are we playing some type of game here, or?
Yeah. You're playing the vicious game of money. And basically what Robert Kiyosaki means in this quote is you've already lost. If you're depending on somebody else to provide funds for you to bail you out, then you don't have your ducks in a row, like you said earlier. So this is a rude awakening for a lot of Americans of realizing that, yeah, this is a benefit, but at the same time, you didn't plan financially or you didn't plan accurately enough to make sure that your necessities were covered should something like this take place. Now, none of us assume that, you know, this pandemic was going to happen, but the fact of the matter is you should always have backup cash because nothing really is guaranteed when it comes to employment.
So if you are able to, whenever you get your stimulus package, your $2,400 or $1,200, depending on your situation, is you should save that money. You should definitely save that money. And you know, another thing that the CARE Act is providing is an additional $600 for people who have unemployment.
Yeah.
So you get your unemployment, then on top of that, the expanded version of is an additional $600. So even with those funds, we should be redirecting those to help cushion us, because the government just gave us money. They're not exactly telling us how we should go about spending it.
No.
So you think there's a reason behind that?
Of course. Me again, devil's advocate. So again, think about this. When the government is taking time to cut checks to all of us, do you really think they're doing it out of the
kindness of their heart?
Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to look for.
You're welcome.
So the answer is no. You know, there's always something loaded when it comes to this. And I'm not trying to harp or be negative, but we just have to think about things for what it is. Because when the government gives you money, what do you do with that money?
You spend it.
You spend it, right? You have to pay your bills. So where does that money go to?
It goes to another business.
It goes to the business. And where does that money go to?
It somehow ends up back with the government.
So yo-yo money is what we talk about, is they give you the money, but they always end up getting it right back with more money.
And that's the whole cycle of our business. Whenever money is put into our system, it always ends up back where it started from, because it's a cycle. Whenever you put money in the bank, you go and get a loan, it ends up back at the bank. So this is the same thing that happens with this stimulus package. Is it's supposed to stimulate the economy so that you spend money.
Say that again. Say that again.
It is supposed to stimulate the economy so that you spend money. It's not there to put you in a better situation. It's there for you to spend the money. So
keep the money moving.
Keep the money moving. That's how it all works. Money has to stay in rotation.
Yep.
Now, what you should be doing when it comes to the money that you get is, if you don't have an emergency fund or a savings, you should be putting some money in savings if you're able to do so.
And when we talk about putting this money in savings, it's more so being strategic with this money and not irresponsible. Because if you're getting this money and you're just blowing it, then shame on you. But the fact is you need to get this money and be strategic. So if you have to pay your bills with it, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you're spending this money effectively. So save it, put it somewhere where it can make you money, make money from this money, do something with it so that it can benefit you, because we know at the end of the day it's still going to benefit businesses and the government.
Right, because this $600 that is being expanded into the unemployment, it only lasts until July 31st. So what's going to happen after that? You still have to have some plans in place, some checks and balances in place, so that if this money stops, or when this money stops, what are you going to do then?
Exactly. So comment below and let us know what you think that you're going to do with this money if you opt to get some of the stimulus funding. And then also definitely check out our masterclass below, because what we do on this Wealth Nation channel is teach you about the money game. And the masterclass is all about teaching you the ins and outs of money so that you can become prepared, and so that you aren't losing this game, and that you're prepared when things happen, which is what we really need to do as a society. Because as we know, 50% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, and even more than that live paycheck to paycheck. So with those numbers, it's no reason why over 10 million people at the time of making this video have filed for unemployment.
Right. Now, the second point that I want to talk about is the savings aspect of it. Now, when we talk about savings, before all this happened, before the corona crash, before all this happened, we were stockpiling our money, not in our savings account, but in our retirement accounts. Because we were saying, okay, when I retire, I want to have money available from our 401k.
Yeah.
But with this CARE Act, what it's allowed you to do is you can borrow up to $100,000 of your retirement to help take care of you right now. And then you have up to 3 years to pay it back without any penalties. So again, this is coming off as helping us, but at the end of the day, it's to stimulate the economy and have you to spend money. Now, we're going to say this probably 5 or 6 more times, is that you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible with what you're spending this additional money on, because who knows how long this whole thing is going to last. It could be for a few months, it could be for a few years. We have no idea. But what we have to do is really focus on the necessities: food, water, and shelter. Make sure those are taken care of through our emergency fund by far, and then move on to the next thing that's most important to you. Definitely when it comes to taking care of your necessities, you need to have your numbers in order. You need to understand how much it costs you, the bare minimum it costs you to live in your house and keep the lights on and keep your water on and your electricity and all those things that you need to survive. Because again, we have no idea how bad things are going to get for America. The next thing that the CARE Act allowed us to do as far as saving is those of us who have student loans, you don't have to pay them for the next 6 months. So until September 30th, you don't have to pay any student loans. Now, those loans aren't going to be forgiven. They're just going to be tacked on to the back end, because student loans, you have to pay. You can't even file bankruptcy and get rid of those student loans.
Those are going to the grave with you.
But that's still opportunity there for us to take that money that we were putting towards our student loans and doing something responsible with it to help us in our expenses.
Leverage. You know, with this extra money that may be coming your way, it's all about leverage. So what are you doing with it? Instead of spending irresponsibly, how about figure out how to flip a buck? Because right now, this is what you need more than ever.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that I want to throw in there is I've gotten emails from airlines. I don't even have travel plans. Airlines, cell phones saying that they're going to waive late fees. But I hadn't gotten any messages from the banks.
What do you think they would say to you?
What are they saying? They're not saying anything. I don't even think they're answering the phones. So at the end of the day, the biggest corporates when it comes to all this is the people who we don't hear anything from. And right now, we're not hearing anything from the banks. And I'll just leave you with that.
Think about that for a minute.
So the reason why I said that is at the end of the day, the biggest beneficiaries from all of this will be the banks, because where will our money go? we're going to let that money sit in our bank accounts. And whenever we pay our bills, where's that money going to go? It's going to go to the banks or financial institutions at the end of the day.
Yep.
And have we heard anything from them? No, we haven't.
Which is why it's so important for me to play devil's advocate on this video, because again, ladies and gentlemen, don't just assume that free money is really free money. There's always a hidden agenda, and you should start questioning that before you start filling out these applications to receive the money.
Right.
So think things through for a moment. It's too good to be true for a reason.
Right, because at the end of the day, there are bills that will have to be paid for this. We can't continue to get money from somewhere. It's not like it came magically out of the air. It came from somewhere. That money has to be paid back at some point, some way, somehow.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they offer another stimulus package so they can do this all over again once July is over.
Yeah. So I hope this video was able to kind of get your mind off of things and start thinking about your finances a little differently. And what I want you to do is take a look at our next video where we talk about what not to do with your money when you get it.
And then also download our freebie below talking about 52 ways for you to own your own lifestyle. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share with family and friends.
Own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.